Hey, is that folk music that you play there? What is that? How do you call that folk music?
I think it was Studs Terkel who asked Big Bill Brunzi, did he consider his blues music to be folk music? And Big Bill says, well, never heard no horses.
Don't hesitate. It could be your ticket to a new tomorrow.
Remember that awful heat wave when you thought your skin would fry? Well, I prayed for cool salvation when my air conditioner died. Well, when I went to bed that evening, must have been 200 degrees. I should have known that it was all over when the devil spoke to me. In reviewing all your records, it seems you've been remiss. I see a picture of a little old man with nothing on his grocery list. So you were just too busy, huh? You had better things to do. Well, you're gonna have to do the shopping now for 1 million people or two. Shopping at the Hades Grand, the store that's bigger than Disneyland. There's only one checkout clerk as well. A typical day of shopping in hell. Well, I pushed that carriage barefoot down aisles of broken glass. Ooh, ah, ooh, ah. Mothers with demon babies, and the fathers, they all had gas. Music, it was a pumping, all the sinners down below. AC/DC doomed to play the best of Barry Manilow. Shopping at the Hades Grand, the store that's bigger than Disneyland. There's only one checkout clerk as well. A typical day of shopping in hell. Well, I thought that I would fix 'em. I'd buy the worst damn food I could. Anchovies with peanut butter. Now doesn't that sound good? Or how about a garlic brownie? Yeah. Or cat food a la mode. Liver and apricot jelly on an X-Lax pizza to go. Shopping at the Hades Grand, the store that's bigger than Disneyland. There's only one checkout clerk as well. A typical day of shopping in hell. Play that harmonica, Ralph. Well, it was just about 12 hours later when that devil, he called my name. And I thought, oh great, I'm going to be fired. It said packing. Oh, what a shame. But he saw lines stretched out for miles, right up to the bathroom door. He said I couldn't have done any better myself, so the job is eternally yours. Shopping at the Hades Grand, the store that's bigger than Disneyland. There's only one checkout clerk as well, a typical day of shopping in hell.
Attention shockers! Anyone caught in the express checkout with 10 or more items will be basted, skewered, roasted in boiling oil for 10,000 years! And thank you for shopping at the Hades Grand.
We're going shopping at the Hades Grand, the store that's bigger than Disneyland. There's only one checkout clerk as well, a typical day of shopping in
All right.
Thank you.
The show is Horses Sing None of It. And apparently devils also. The guest is Ken Galipeau. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Ralph. Thanks for having me.
This show, as you may or may not know, is a function and an activity of the Folk Project. And Ken is here as a member of the Folk Project and is going to be performing a cavalcade of songs by stars of the Folk Project as well.
That's
in addition
true.
to his own material.
That's where the songs come from. You know, I collect all different kinds of songs, so today I'll be doing some stories and some songs that are... As a matter of fact, that song was written by Dennis Dougherty and Karen Grinwald. We had a Folk Project event where they had to put their names in a hat and they got picked at random, and they had 3 weeks to come up with a song to do. And when they got together, Dennis said, "Oh, let's write a song." And Karen said, no, I don't write songs. And he said, "Oh, it's easy. All you have to do is make a shopping list." And she said, "I hate shopping." And that's how that song was born. So,
excellent.
yeah. You want me to just start, or are you gonna
Interview.
Yeah, should I interview you, Ralph?
Interview me, or I interview you?
Well,
You're from Randolph, New Jersey.
I'm from Randolph, New Jersey. Actually, technically, I'm from
Technically.
Parsippany, but my mailing address is Randolph.
They get tricky that way, don't
It
they?
gets tricky that way.
And your telephone exchange is?
Morristown.
They try and trick you every which way.
Yeah, when you're out in the boonies of Parsippany, you just get pulled this way and that, you know? Used to be, address was Dover, and then they changed it to Randolph. And
They're just trying to confuse the heck out of everybody trying to get in touch with you.
that's great. You call them up and say, "What's my address?" And you get it all set, and then they call you a year later and say, "Oh, it's changed." So you have to change all your mailing stuff, and it's kind of a pain.
Well, what you got on deck for us?
Well, let me do you a song that I wrote. Actually, this needs a little introduction. This is a song about fishing with my uncle. We used to have a summer place up in Rhode Island, and we would go there every summer from the time I was 4th grade until I went to college. And next door to the cottage that we had, which was on a river, was my aunt and uncle, my Aunt Florence and Uncle Al. And the river was really great. There was like a lake at one end and the ocean at the other. And the lake had, or the river had crabs in it and fish and eels. So we could go down anytime, just walk right out the front of the house and go down to the lake and crab, and we come back and cook them and catch fish and swim and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of like being at camp all summer. But, of course, we didn't have the camp counselors, but I had something just as good. I had my Uncle Al. So my Uncle Al, he worked at a mill up at north part of Rhode Island. And he would come down, he would get home about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I'd hang around with my uncle, and we'd do all kinds of cool stuff. We had a garden out in the back, and actually my uncle was like the original recycling environmentalist type guy. This is like 35 years ago. He'd bring stuff home from the plant. Like, they had this outdoor shower that they used to use. When you come back from the ocean or out in the lake, you could come back and rinse yourself off. But the water was always cold, so you jump in and you get out. But my uncle got hold of this big black barrel, and he put it up on the roof so that the water would go into the barrel and then into the shower. So it was like a solar heater. This is 35 years ago. So now when we'd go out swimming and stuff, it'd be a mad dash to rush to who would get back and get the hot water, because there was only like 50 gallons in that thing there. So, but we would do that, and he would bring back wood that he would use, that we'd use in the big grill that he would cook outside. And we built a big fireplace that I helped him build. He would use the wood for that, and he'd bring back pipes and stuff that we'd use to build different things. And eventually we put a cement slab on the outside shower, and I got to put my handprints in it, my initials, and I think it's still there after 35 years. But the real cool thing I used to do with my uncle was fishing. See? My uncle and I, we would go out fishing, and, well, I forgot to tell you, my uncle liked us to call him Uncle Ish. There was some character called Ish Kabibble, and I forget who Ish Kabibble is, but he used to say, call me Uncle Ish, I'm your Uncle Ish. And whenever he'd see something that was cool, he'd go, oh boy. Or, when we made the shower, and the first time he took that hot shower, he says, oh boy, this is going to be nice, Or we'd be out in the garden, and we'd get this big tomato there, and he'd say, oh boy, look at this tomato, give it to me and tell me to go bring it to my aunt. But I used to go fishing with my uncle all the time. And it was really great going fishing with him, because he used to do all the dirty work, right? And I just got to do the fishing. And like the other thing we would do is go quail hogging. You ever been quail hogging? You know what quail hogging is?
That's for clams.
That's for clams. That's right. That's clams. And some people get quail hogs by taking a rake and they put it in the mud and they rake up the clams. But what my uncle used to do is he would just climb out of the boat and he would walk around in the mud. And he'd take off his shoes and he'd be walking around in the mud without his shoes on, feeling for the clams in the mud. And I wouldn't do that. I mean, I knew there was crabs in there, and I'd see him walking around, and some horseshoe crab would stick his tail up in the air, and I'd go like, oh man, I'm not going in there. But he'd go in there. He'd walk around, and he'd pick up some clams, he'd get a bunch of them, and say, oh boy, and he'd rush the mud off, and he'd put them in the boat, So we used to walk around with them and do that, but I wouldn't do it. And also when we go fishing, of course, most of the time we would do casting and we'd reel them in and we didn't have to worry about the worms. But a couple times when we go out in the ocean, he'd always put the worm on the hook for me, and then when we catch a fish, he was the one who used to take the fish off, because then when we touch the fish, they were all kind of slimy and everything. So I wrote this song. Some other time I'll have to tell you about our pet fish that we had. That's a different story for another time. But so I wrote this song, which is kind of celebrates what us parents and grandparents and relatives do for the young kids so that they get to have fun and they don't have to do all the dirty work. So this is called Fishing with Ish. Fishing, fishing, fishing with Ish is my wish. Fishing, fishing, that's for me. I'm wishing I was fishing with Ish. Do I have to buy a pole? Heck no. Dig for worms down in a hole? Heck no. Do I get to drive the boat? Oh yeah, I love fishing with Ish. Yeah, fishing, fishing, fishing with Ish is my wish. Fishing, fishing, that's for me. I'm wishing I was fishing with Ish. Trying to remember what we did next. Do I have to walk and muck? Heck no. Wait and weed to feel the guck? Heck no. Do I get to feel them nibbling? Oh yeah, I love fishing with Ish. Yeah, fishing, fishing, fishing with Ish is my wish. Fishing, fishing, that's for me. I'm wishing I was fishing with Ish. Do I have to hook the worms? Heck no. Do I gotta feel them squirm? Heck no. Do I get to reel them in? Oh yeah, I love fishing with Ish. Yeah, fishing, fishing, fishing with Ish is my wish. Fishing, fishing, that's for me, I'm wishing I was fishing with Ish. Do the heads I have to cut? Heck no. Do the stick my fingers in the guts? Heck no. Do I get to eat the fish? Oh yeah, I love fishing with Ish. Yeah, fishing, fishing, fishing with Ish is my wish. Fishing, fishing, that's for me. I'm wishing I was fishing with Ish. Oh, I love fishing with Ish. Can't wait to go fishing with Ish. I wanna go fishing with Ish. Do I love to go fishing with Ish? Oh yeah!
All right.
Thank you, thank you. That's fishing with Ish.
Great uncle.
Great uncle, yeah. He was a great guy, really a great guy. Well, tell you, let me.
Dismounting your guitar.
Dismounting my guitar. I'm going to get a little sip of water here, and then I'm going to tell you a story.
All right. So, before you launch into this,
Okay.
we should let folks know how to get in touch with you.
Okay.
Do you have a mailing list so you can let people know where you're going to be playing?
I have a website.
A website?
I have a website,
All right.
right. As a matter of fact, there it is, right there on the screen.
Ken J. Galipeau.
www.storysong.com. Don't forget that N. People often leave out that N. And there's my telephone number. You check out that website. It shows where I'm playing. It has my email address on there. You can send me some email.
All right.
You got
Even
everything
better than
covered.
wasting paper on sending a letter.
Even better than wasting paper on sending a letter. If you're in the electronic age, that's the thing to do.
And if you're not in the electronic age, you can go to your library and get into the electronic age.
That's true. That's true. You can go to your library. That's a good thinking. I always forget about that. Well, recently I was asked to tell stories at the Burnsville Library. And it was a night of horror and ghost stories. And the reason for it is they were moving the library to a new building. And they wanted to, the kids that were there wanted to know what was going to happen to this ghost that haunts the Burnsville Library. So I read the story and I thought, wow, it's a pretty interesting story, but you know, the person, Phyllis, who haunts the library, didn't die a tragic death. So I went there to the library and I listened to the wind to get the real story. And this is the real story. You see, it started over 200 years ago in 1776. Phyllis and her father, Captain Parker, lived in the Vealtown Tavern, which is today the Burnsville Library. Now, Phyllis was a very beautiful woman, but she was very tall, much taller than the people of those days. Matter of fact, if you go look in the house and you walk upstairs, the door frames are really low. I can just about fit in them because the people in those times were generally smaller. But it was reported that Phyllis was very, very tall and very beautiful. And all the men used to come to the Vealtown Tavern to try to court her. But she was never quite interested. Well, Vealtown, or the Burnsville Library, is in between Pluckerman and Morristown, and this is the time during the Civil War, and there was lots of troop movement back and forth between the taverns. So they got a lot of activity from soldiers, and the people of the countryside would come. Now one day, this Dr. Byram came, and Dr. Byram came to the Vealtown Tavern, and when he walked in and he saw Phyllis, he fell instantly in love. And Phyllis took one look at Dr. Byram, and she fell in love because he was really tall. He had long hair and a beard. And it was kind of uncommon to have such a tall man, and she being so tall, she fell in love with him. And they began talking, and within a few days, they fell in love. And they were spending time together, and pretty soon he was living there right in the tavern with her father. Can you imagine that 200 years ago?
Shameless.
Shameless. But he lived right there, and he was a doctor, so he came to set up a practice in the countryside. So he would go out in the country, and he would doctor to all the people, and the people loved him. He was really a great guy. Had a great bedside manner, and was very personable to all the people. Now, what he did is he stayed there in the Vealtown Tavern and also kind of became like one of the owners. And when the soldiers and people would come in, he would entertain them and they would sing and he would drink with them up until late, until the night. And he would sing songs of old England and have a great time. Now one day, well, before I tell you that, I need to tell you that one thing that they used to do is they used to go out and walk in the woods at night. After everybody went home, after they had drunk and eaten, they all went to sleep. Phyllis and Dr. Byram would go out and they'd walk in the woods. And there they would sing silly songs to each other. They would sing a song, like he would make up a song and sing it to her, and then she would make a song kind of to reply. And they would do this back and forth and tease each other and make up jokes and sing these songs. Now, one night these soldiers came, high-ranking soldiers. One was a General Wayne. And when he walked in and Dr. Byram saw him, he turned to Phyllis and said, "Phyllis, I don't feel very well. I'm going up to bed." So he went up to bed and stayed there the rest of the night. Now the next day, when they got up, he was gone. No one thought anything of it because he was a doctor. He would often get up in the middle of the night and leave. But the general came to Captain Parker, Phyllis's father, and said, "I'm missing some papers, some very important papers that General Washington needs. They have to do with troop movements of the colonial army." And Captain Parker said, "Well, you must be mistaken because I don't know what happened to the papers." He said, "Well, you must have a spy." He said, "No, there can't be a spy around here. Everybody hates the Tories." Well, the general said, "What about this Dr. Byram?" And soon it became clear, after talking with Captain Parker, and Captain Parker brought down a statue that Phyllis had of him, that when he looked at it, the general, he said, "This is Aaron Wilde, a well-known Tory spy. He's the one who must have taken the papers." So he got up and they all went out to go find him. Now, Captain Parker didn't say anything to his daughter Phyllis. It was to be kept a secret. He didn't want her to know, just in case this turned out to be not true. Well, days went by and Phyllis began to worry about Captain Parker, or worry about Dr. Byram and whether he would come back or not. Well, 4 days went by. He hadn't been gone that long. And the next day, Captain Parker received a note from General Wayne. It was a note saying a spy had been caught in Blazier's Corner. So he went to Blazier's Corner, and there he found Dr. Byram, or Aaron Wilde, as it turned out to be. And he was tried and convicted because he had those papers in his possession. And they hung him from a tree on a short rope. And before he died, he was able to write a note to Phyllis professing his undying love, and a note to Captain Parker asking that he be given a proper burial. Well, a soldier went to go cut him down. He took out a sword and he was distracted, and when he did, he ended up cutting off the head of Dr. Byram.
You.
Well, they took the head and they put it in the coffin and they nailed it shut, and Captain Parker brought it back to the Vealtown Tavern and put it right in the dining room. Same place I told those stories. And Phyllis came in and she said, "What's this here?" And she said, and father turned to her and said, "Well, it's just a spy that they caught. They wanted me to bury the body because the troop need to go on and move someplace else." So she didn't think anything of it. She went up to bed. That night, she was thinking of him, tossing and turning and tossing and turning, when she thought she heard him singing. So she ran downstairs and looked around. She couldn't find him. She ran outside to where they walked in the woods, and still she couldn't find him. So she ran back in the house, and she went there in the room where the coffin was, and she heard the singing there in the coffin. So she took a bar, and she pried open the coffin, and there was her lover, Dr. Byram, in the coffin with his head off. And she began to weep and cry. But then she heard that singing. And she heard this voice singing, and it began to sing. "I know now you will leave me. I know our love is dead. A man in life can't keep a wife if he can't keep his head. You never dated shorties. I'm shorter by a head. At night we'll never fight again for the fluffy pillow on the bed. When people stare, I know you'll care. I'm much too young to lose my hair. And how Can anyone love me now? It's awfully nice to see you, though both my eyes are gone. What good are those without a nose to put my glasses on? Friends will never ask us to dinner at their homes. It looks so crude to pour the food directly down an open hole. I have no head for lyrics. La 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 la. And how can anyone love me now? And at that point, Phyllis began to weep, tears of pain, tears of joy, tears of horror. And she was just about to sing to him her last goodbye song when down came her father and pulled her away and said, "No, no, I don't want you to see this, no, no." And he dragged her away and brought her upstairs and sedated her. She was never able to sing her song. And they say that she went insane because all she did for the rest of her days was say, "I want to sing, I want to sing, I want to sing." And they thought she went insane, but she just wanted to sing her goodbye song. So she still haunts the Vealtown Tavern. And if we sing her song now, maybe she'll go on in peace. And her song that she wanted to sing was this. You say that now your head's removed, I'll leave you in such haste. Although I would agree a mind's a terrible thing to waste. From the day we met I knew you weren't all that smart. I never loved you for your brain, I loved you for your heart. You'd lose the forest for the trees, you'd lose your wallet, lose your keys. I think that all but once you would forget our anniversary. At least without a mind, we know you'll never go insane. I always loved you for your heart and never for your brain. Hey, little sad man, you always did what you can. I knew that you would never roam, you'd never find your way back home. So stop your far-off vacant stare. What people think you shouldn't care. The world would be a better place if men's thoughts formed between neck and waist. Now you're easier on the eyes, you used to drool your spit. Maybe take up boxing, there is nothing there to hit. I would never leave you, sleet or snow or wind or rain. I always loved you for your heart and certain other naughty parts. I always loved you for your heart, but never